It's the Jack
and Cathy
show.
Shit Show.
And there we go.
Yeah,
okay,
like
I think if yeah.
Okay.
One, two.
What? We're here. We're
One,
ready.
Two. One,
Three.
two, three. That was our best ever.
Ever?
Yeah, we were.
That was the
almost in
best
sync.
ever?
Though when I listened to it back on the, it's funny because this camera.
Do we need to turn off the dryer?
Oh, you want to do that real quick? Do you mind?
Okay.
I'll do it. You're stuck. Okay, why don't you start the podcast? Hi.
I'm wrapped in a blanket.
Is it that cold in here for you?
It is. Yeah. It's snowing outside right.
I'm going to go back into the back part of the house. It's going to be a while.
Okay, I'm going to eat another spoonful of cottage cheese. Mm-hmm. Because I love cottage cheese.
Okay, stopped.
Awesome. Thank you, babe.
There we go. I didn't realize that was on. Good call. Welcome back to the show.
That was our commercial.
That was our commercial break. Yep.
Yeah. We'll just edit that.
Too bad the dryer's so old that we couldn't get a sponsorship from them because they don't exist anymore. So as we always like to say, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, baby. I'm good.
What's going on? Where have you been?
Where have I been? I'm upstairs. How about you? Where have you been?
All over, it seems like.
You've been upstairs, downstairs, everything,
I'm gonna move
all
this.
over the house.
Yeah,
That's where you've been. You've been traveling.
Traveling quite. Want to move a little closer? Want to sneak
Okay,
over? One, two, three. There we go. Beauty. Thanks.
All right.
Hi.
So we actually have been traveling.
Hi.
Hi.
So, all right. So we're gonna try to. I want to get this started here with you.
Okay, you're just diving right in.
Surprising
no chitter
you.
chatter.
Nope. You have no idea.
No
that I
bullshit
was gonna
stories about our vacation.
We could totally bullshit. I just want to let you know that I know Key doesn't listen, which is hilarious because that's all she did was listen, and now she never does, which is hilarious. And I thank her for getting everything set up for this podcast, and now I know how to do it. Fortunately, I'm pretty good with technology, right? It's what I do for a living.
You are.
So I know how to, like even today when we were doing the Monday market thing,
Yeah.
Anyway, I got to a place now where I know how to do this podcast quickly.
Mm-hmm.
How to produce it quickly. And thanks to Key for setting that up, meaning I'd like to do this more frequently. I think I told you that on our walk this morning.
Yep.
That if we could do a couple days a week,
Yeah.
I now can turn this stuff around super fast. And not that Key couldn't turn around fast. She has a real life and a real job, and this was a side thing that she was doing for us. So
she's busy.
We were very lucky to have her do this for us, and now we figured it out, and that's cool. So point is to the fan base out there, Mom, Alex, 2 Aarons, and maybe a few other people. Carol, Nancy listens. We'd like to do this more frequently. Dad. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I want to try to get something a couple times a week if we could. Just some topics to discuss real fast. Mm-hmm. I feel like we're like Pivot with Kara Swisher and those two where they just ramble on about shit.
Okay.
Thanks for the walk this morning.
Yeah.
It's Halloween for everyone out there, and we just got back from
today's the 31st.
We got back from a long trip to Europe. And we are still recovering from the jet lag.
That would be Europe for people that don't speak Jackahonar.
Okay. It's pronounced Europe. Europe. And so we were both up at 4:00.
Yes,
4:30.
Yeah. I passed out last night at 9.
You did.
And woke up at 4:30.
You did.
And so we went for an early walk.
It was great.
Yeah, it's pitch black outside, and it's time for hats and scarves and mittens.
Yeah.
And then when we were on our way back, we saw the first flakes of snow.
It's really pretty out there right now.
It is.
I'm
it's
pointing
sticking to
behind
everything.
us.
Yeah.
It is.
Just beyond that wall and up a floor.
Yeah, it's pretty, I think. Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm excited. It's weird to say I'm excited about the snow, but I'm okay with seasons.
Snow is awesome.
Come
I love
February,
snow.
I
love snow. It's just that the bitter cold is stupid.
So come February when I'm saying things like I'm welcoming the winter, you're gonna
Where
replay
everything
this.
is brown and dead and slushy and
Kind of like our marriage.
what?
Brown and dead and slushy. Yeah, I think maybe by February I'll change my tune. However, if we're going to see Sam play baseball, we'll get a respite,
We will.
right? Because it's warm weather.
Next week we go to
Maryland.
Maryland. I always want to say Massachusetts.
You can. It's not where we're
Because
going.
we were
but
just
you
there.
can. Yeah.
But Maryland.
Yeah. So, so I'm excited about the walk. So thank you. We just got back from a trip, which we'll talk about in a second.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's cool to track Terry Luna. She's been a guest on our show a couple of times, and I don't know if you've been watching her. She's out in New Mexico now, and it's really kind of cool. Getting van life envy for some things. So it's pretty cool. Just been tracking that.
It's very cool.
Matthew Perry died. Does that
That's
impact
so
you anyway?
sad. Impact me?
Yeah, like.
Well, I mean, he
you-
was one of our contemporaries, right? So when Friends was big on television, that was sort of our era, our age. You know, he was 54 years old or something, and we are 57, so that's in that same zone. And so it feels like, it feels a little close to home in that way.
Did you like Friends?
Yeah. Yeah, who didn't like Friends?
I didn't.
Da, 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 da,
I liked
da,
the song. That was back when the Thursday lineup on NBC was unreal, right? You'd go from Cheers to Seinfeld, or like maybe it was Cosby, Cheers, Seinfeld, Friends.
Yeah, when TV was different,
Like
those were the days.
You set aside popcorn starting at 7
Well, and you
o'clock on
could
a
go to the
Thursday.
bathroom at the commercials, and you made your popcorn during the commercials,
yeah.
and there was no pausing the television, and
Well,
it's all different.
And
now.
Friends related to us because they were the exact same age as us.
I just said that.
Well, no, I'm repeating what you're
Okay.
saying. Yeah. No, I did.
Like,
It's not that
were
I
you
didn't
not
hear you.
listening to
No,
me?
I was listening. But I mean, it was all of it, right? The music was they talk about Dave Matthews or Hootie and the Blowfish concert that they were going to see. And we're like, it was just.
It's very sad his passing. And
Well, I ask you about celebrity passing more than anything. Like, do you give a shit about that stuff? Because when I hear it, it's right. It's because it. I mean, I feel bad that
sad.
someone died, but it's not someone I knew.
Well,
right?
no,
So-
but you know, when it's a celebrity, you kind of almost they feel more familiar than, you know, a complete stranger. And so I do feel bad. He was young and could not conquer his addiction.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
And like so many people that die of addiction, it's such a sad, avoidable. No, but once it takes hold of them, it's just so hard to shake, and it's so, And there are people that shake it, but he could not.
Well, we were listening to a podcast this morning where one of the hosts was talking about how he went to an intervention on behalf of someone that worked for him, and everyone sat around saying, "Hey, we love you, etc." And then the person that was the focus of the intervention said, I love all of you too. I just love heroin more. And you and I said, not that Matthew Perry was on heroin. That's not what we mean. He admittedly struggled with alcohol and pills. And I said to you, I went, man, I don't know addiction. Like, I mean, I understand it intellectually. I've just never experienced it where I would say to somebody, yeah, I love you too. I recognize I'm destroying myself. This heroin thing is awesome.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So that's the part that I feel bad about, right? And not understanding it, you know, not having that personality type either. It's hard for me to get my head around it because I always feel that I can just snap a finger and change directions. I'm just lucky that way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a happy, uplifting thing to talk about.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the war in Israel and Palestine next?
And just round out the joy today with a little Middle East talk.
Yeah.
No, let's not. I'm not sure I get it.
I get it too. If anyone wants to get it better, Kara Swisher has a podcast called On with Kara Swisher, and maybe 5 episodes ago, she had Christian. Is that how you pronounce it? Christian Amanpour? Christine. I don't know how to pronounce
something. You're in the zone.
Yeah, Christiana Amanpour was her guest, and she's very knowledgeable. And I appreciate the stance that people that I follow on social media are taking, which is we could all render an opinion on Hamas and Israel and all this other stuff that's going on in that part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I love how in this podcast they had Christiana Amanpour on, who knows it, right? Who was interviewed all these different leaders and is considered in some respects at least a reporter of regard. So if you want to get educated, if you're into educating, take a listen to Kara Swisher's podcast On with Christiana Amanpour. It's 30 minutes quick, but it gives a real good understanding of what's going on over there. So anyway, that was that.
Yep.
You've got a look on your face like you want to get out of here. Do you want me to tell a joke? Or what are you thinking right now? What's going on in your head?
I was just processing all of that.
Oh,
I haven't listened to that one yet.
Oh, it's really good. I didn't thought you listened to it. It's so good.
Yeah, I find the whole thing perplexing. You know, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how you get out of a situation like that. Like, how is there resolve in this? And to fight and kill in the name of basically, you know, their religious beliefs and Holy Land. And it's like, I'm pretty sure that's not what God, whatever God you believe in or however you choose to pray, it's not what we're supposed to be doing.
Depends on the God. That's the truth. That's the challenge with it. And I know there are people who listen to this who are religious, but what God are we listening to? Oh, your God's right, so my God's wrong. That's why it's an easier place for me to sit in. You guys all have your God and whatever you need because you tell me which one's right.
Yeah.
So I feel very comfortable in my atheist stance there. But I think there's more to it than, I know religion's a huge part of it. They both believe in very fundamentally different things.
Yep.
So anyway, wow.
Anyway, okay.
So we just lost
thanks
the
for bringing
7
that
listeners.
up. We did. Yep. Okay. Even I'm asleep.
Do you want me to sing a song? Can make something up really fast.
All right. So we had something that we were going to talk about today based on our conversation.
Yeah, so here's the thing. So, and I think this is all kind of connected and relevant, and it's weird the way the universe works, and I don't consider myself overly affected by universe stuff, and yet it's hard to ignore it. So, oh, is that my daughter texting you? Oh, that's cute.
I had asked her a question.
Oh, so, you know, the purpose of this podcast is that you felt we talked a lot about our relationship. So day one, you with me? Day one, you had said, let's do a podcast because we talk a lot about relationships and our relationship. And we have never and nor will we seek out to be an advice podcast. We're not here to say, I think you should say that. Like if people were to call in, I don't know that I would tell them what to do. I would say, go talk to someone who's a professional like we do with Going to Linda. We can give you our experience of things that have worked for us and you can try. I just never wanted us to be an advice podcast.
Right.
I wanted people to see what we're doing. And if from that it becomes either inspirational or, boy, don't do that. If they can learn from some of the things they're experiencing from us,
sure,
then we've done something well here with this thing. So where I'm going, I said, you had asked me what we're going to talk about on the podcast today, and you said you wanted to talk about our trip to Europe and what we're doing next in life. And I said, I think I've got a way to lead into this. Okay. But I didn't tell you what it was. And so now I'm telling
you did not. Lay it on
So
me.
while we were in Europe, a really good friend of mine that I've worked with for the better part of 30 years, his wife was out running one morning and she got hit by a car. And she was in intensive care and on life support for a number of days, and she passed away on Sunday. So I make it a little emotional in telling the story. And he's 62, she's 60. They met when they were in college, married 30 plus years together. And it happened when we were in Europe, and it happened to be at the same time that I had said to Kath, I'd said to you. I'm feeling like a change is coming, right? Like there's something happening in our lives or in my life. I've been saying it for the past few months, and I don't mean a change like we got married, we eloped. I don't mean that.
Yep.
I don't mean selling of the house. That's just something
you weren't necessarily sure what you meant. You
no,
were just
I
sort
felt
of
something, right?
this, yes.
And it wasn't there was no. Does anyone else go through that? Like, I hope if you're like in the car or at home, you're nodding your head going, or maybe I'm fucking loopy. But you go through that too, right? You just feel something. Like you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
No? Yeah?
No, I know.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
so
that instinct, that voice inside of you.
Yeah. And
has been talking to you for a while.
For the past 3 or 4 months. Like something's
You've been saying,
up.
I feel something. I feel something.
I
feel change. I feel something significant.
Right. And it's not, I want change. I'm searching for something. It's just that something isn't in sync. And so there's a term called Wu Wei, WUWEIE, that means
I think we've talked about
action
it before
without or movement without action, or something along those lines. I'm butchering the shit out of it. In essence, it's to be like water, right? And just flow over rocks and flow over waterfalls and be still sometimes when it's a pool, and to be water. And so I've been finding myself for the last 3 months just kind of observing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, still staying true to objectives like getting work done and doing the podcast and showering occasionally, right?
Yep.
So, but the theme that I've been feeling is I want something different. And I don't mean us splitting up. And if anyone hears that, it's not what I'm getting at. It's not even we don't have much time left. Life is short.
I'd say it's a little of that, though.
Well, it's not. It's more.
Or at least it is for me.
What's more, what are we doing, right? And then, so my friend Ken's wife dies while we're in Europe. And by the way, Cathy and I were in Paris, then Luxembourg, then Switzerland, and back to Paris. She was able to get her Luxembourgian citizenship, so we made a vacation out of it with her family, her brother, sister-in-law, and then mom and dad, and it was awesome. Everything about it was a great trip. And then you and I extended it a good 5 days for ourselves. And around the tail end of the family trip is when Ken's wife passed away. And it was during that trip too that I said to you, let's move to Paris. And I wasn't sure if that was the thing I've been feeling, but it was certainly, let's take on something. And it wasn't, I'm searching for something in life. It's, I want to experience life. And I found a partner that loves to experience life too. And we don't have basketball games to go to, and we don't have kids to cart off to schools. Our kids are adults. I mean, they're paying taxes.
Yes.
And they need us. And at the same time, that they've flown the coop. And so Ken's wife dies, and it's like a hammer to my head. And then there's, just some crazy strife stuff going on in America. And by the way, any country's got shit, right? So I'm not saying we suck. Every country's got good and bad. I just felt that change is imminent, and I want to try something different. And it doesn't mean be irresponsible and not work. We're not at a place where we can retire. But we started talking about your career and my career with the attitude of, we're older now, so we don't have many work years left, right? Well, we're going to start to be perceived as old,
right?
Right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I feel in many circumstances we already are. So that's interesting.
And so, part of me wants to go. Let's just do our own shit, and if that meant we go to Europe. And we take on this new adventure, and you can dive into whatever detail you want to go into, because you said on the walk, are you comfortable going into detail? Because I know you feel that you like going into the detail of our conversations, and I tend to try to hide from them on this podcast. So Ken's wife dies. We're in Europe. I'm having this existential moment of, what am I doing? And it's not, I'm missing something in life. It's, I want to experience shit with you. And if we fuck up and it's wrong and we live someplace else and we go, oh, well, that didn't work, let's try something else. Because that's all we have. We don't have, the destination is death, right? We only have experiences. And then I get back to the office on Monday after severe jet lag, and my friend Gabe calls me up. I wish he would listen to the podcast. Gabe calls up, and he's got a kid that lives in Hawaii, and for years, 4 years, 5 years, he's been talking about wanting to move to Hawaii and be with his kid. And he's a little bit older than me, and he's closer to retirement. And so I get on the phone with him, and I tell him about Ken, and he's like, yeah, I just heard. And of course, I go, what are you doing? Get your ass to Hawaii. Like, what the fuck? Why are we waiting? And then he tells a story of his brother was called, remember I told you last night at dinner, what did I say he was called? One Day.
Yeah, One Day.
They called him One Day. His nickname was One Day because his brother used to always say, one day I'm going to. And then next thing you know, his brother dies at 62 years old of an illness, just suddenly gone. So I know it's coming across that I'm feeling that I'm close to death. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm feeling that life is about living. Is that fair? And experiencing things and trying things, and not because I'm searching for an answer, but more I just want to dive and experience as much shit as I can. Why not? Right? Like I loved playing the guitar. I love being in a band because it's fucking fun. Yeah. And I love going to Europe with you. And if we got a job over there, it'd be fun. Right?
I describe it as I've described it as writing a chapter in life. Like I want to go write a chapter. When I got that job offer in Chicago, completely out of the blue, and I thought, yeah, I want to go write a chapter in Chicago. And
yeah, go ahead. No, I'm listening. You said you write a chapter in Chicago. I want to read something. Good.
And I want you and I to write some interesting chapters in life. You know, I don't want us just to live in this house and then, 35 years from now, I don't know, looking at a home or something. I want to go write chapters with you and have these adventures. So I'm on board. I think my brain has a required step of pragmatic. I'm a little more pragmatic where, you and I are sitting having a snack and a coffee in the town of, what's it called?
Thun. I'll put the pictures up.
Yeah.
Thun. If anyone's watching the podcast.
Thun. I'm sure it's not pronounced.
It's probably pronounced
Thun. It's probably something much more beautiful than Thun. It's probably like Thun or something. Yeah. But yeah, we're sitting there along the river and snow-capped mountains in the background, and it's just epically beautiful day, and the sun is shining on us, and we're sipping our coffee, and Jack goes, you go back home and get the house ready and sold, and I'll stay here and get our life set. And he's looking at me like, I'm serious. I am serious. You go home and leave me here.
What did I tell you this morning? If you had said, all right, let's do it, I'll go back and get things set. I said, all right, I'll find us a place.
That's fine.
I would have done it.
Purpose of my story is to explain to you that you're spontaneous and you would do that. And meanwhile, I'd be like, I'm a little more pragmatic. I wouldn't, I'm open to the move. I just need to figure out a few other details like cost of living and how I'm going to make money when I'm there. Just, I don't have to have it set, but I want to spend a minute thinking about it.
I think and feel that this is the place of the conversation that I want to get preachy and advice and all this other kind of stuff. So I agree that the level of spontaneity between us is different. I also agree that I need to dial it down just a little bit, right? Because at a practical level, it's not fair of you to have to clean up the whole fucking house and list it without my help.
No, really.
Right?
You go home,
no,
finish
you go
the
home.
house. I'm like,
I remember I even said, don't even worry about the bathrooms. Just list it. Fuck it. Pretty it up. I'll find us a place and I'll fly back and get our stuff and we'll be done. Like, I had all this. I had the house sold and money in a week.
Just sell it as is.
Well, so there's something to embrace in that, though, right? Mm-hmm. Which is
yes.
What is
and
that?
I
What's
embrace
to embrace
that.
In that. What is to embrace?
The idea of essentially dumping out life as you knew it and putting new pieces back into your bucket. It's like what Terry did. She
right.
is taking chances in life. And I definitely, before I met you, I had a dream of going to live in Paris.
Right.
And taking my French immersion classes and really working on the language and spending, maybe at least a year in France, because I love France and I love the language. And then I meet somebody who is very similar. So you had
and then
French
you guys
in
broke
school
up
too,
and then you met me.
and then I met you. And no, but for you to go to Paris and be like, I could live here. I was like, wow, that's so cool. We could do that. And so I think something is on the verge of a big change like that. And I think it's going to be a wonderful adventure and hard and unknowns. But when you think about it, everything in life is unknown. You might think you have a job tomorrow, or you might think you have another day, but we don't. We do not know. Right? And hence, circling back to the tragic story of your coworker and friend Ken losing his wife in such an instantaneous, tragic, how quickly life shifts like that. And that could happen at any time. So I don't want to be the person that said, oh, tomorrow. I do want to be that person that takes some risks and has some life experiences.
I feel, thank you for sharing that. I feel the challenge with most people, and again, this is not saying that you have to pick up and move to Paris to live a fulfilled life. Like, my dad loved being an accountant. Mm-hmm. He really did. Mm-hmm. I don't know, only my mom could really answer if he wanted more and then, just was afraid. But
people's more can look different. Maybe
that's
their
what I mean.
More is, I want to plant this massive garden in my backyard, and that's always been a dream of mine.
Yeah,
you've told stories about how your dad wanted to sail and he got a boat.
That's what I mean.
And,
that's what I'm getting at, is that it doesn't. I don't want to. I think it's easy to romanticize what we're talking about and go, oh my God, they took off and went to Paris, but that's our dream. Mm-hmm. That's our vision.
Yeah,
like my friend Gabe, whom I love. I really got to get him to listen to this podcast. Has actually an opportunity to keep his job and move to Hawaii for 3 months. Mm-hmm. And so when I said to him, do it, book that fucking shit, go in, because he's in Philadelphia. Go in January when it sucks in Philadelphia, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Go now. He's like, well, there's these complications. And I fell back in my chair and I said, I'm going to be that friend that goes, are you fucking kidding me? You're giving yourself reasons not to do something. And so he wants to be with his kid because he never gets to see his grandchildren out there, right?
Yeah.
And his daughter-in-law. And so I don't want this podcast to be perceived as you got to pick up and go some places to be and romanticize it. Maybe my sister and her husband want to take 3 months off and live at their summer home, mm-hmm. right? Like whatever that thing is, mm-hmm. I feel we get to a place where risk becomes the answer. Wow, there's a lot of risk to it. And, now I have to do this, and now I have to do that. Well, we've talked about this before. You can put everything on a sheet of paper that says these are all the bad things that are going to happen. And you can turn the paper over and talk about these are all the things I'm going to gain from it. Yeah. And just which do you decide to read?
Right.
And how do you decide to react to it? Like, we could go to Paris, get a job, and fuck, the economy blows there, or there's some riot that takes place. Mm-hmm. It doesn't prevent us from getting in a car accident. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not suggesting that the normalcies of life
more likely in Paris.
Yeah, fuck, with the way they drive, no shit.
Lord, that traffic.
Yikes.
Woo!
Yeah.
Like, are there any rules?
Right. It's just everything goes.
Any rules.
Every light is green. So
goodness.
I remember at Alex and Sam's wedding, and I hope they liked the speech because I truly did spend a lot of time with it. And you know that.
Mm-hmm.
The whole point of the speech was to talk about how life is just short and that all you can do is experience as much as possible. And a song that always chokes me up is the song by One Republic called I Lived. And maybe I'll play it at the end of this. And I don't know if I have the rights to do it. But the chorus is, hope that you fall in love and it hurts so bad. The only way you can know see, I'm getting emotional.
Take
Is you give all you have, and I hope that you don't suffer, but take the pain. And I hope when the moment comes, you say, I did it all. I owned every second that this life would give. I saw so many places, the things that I did with every broken bone I swear I lived. See, I'm getting all emotional. And I can't believe I found a partner. I think that's what this is doing to me. I don't want to retire. I know that sounds, I like working.
Yeah.
I like the prospect of the technology stuff. I like being creative. I think if I sat around and wasn't in meetings and all that kind of stuff, I don't know what I'd do. So I'm not hearing, let's just retire and see the fucking world. I'd like to try something with you. And so it's just interesting to me that 3 or 4 months I came to you and said, I'm not feeling right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. It's been nagging at you.
Yeah, that there's something, that's my friend Don calling, that there's something that I'm just not feeling right about. And then all these circumstances started coming up. And then I have you, and that's what's fucking crazy. I met someone who's like, yeah, let's do it. I think I told you, Laura's always said that I needed someone who, when I would say, let's jump, would go, you got it, and let's do it.
Well, you did find somebody that said, yes, I'll jump, but how high is it exactly? And do I have the proper shoes on?
Is that you?
Yeah.
I'm trying to... I don't know how many people
what's on the other side?
Well,
but yes, I'll jump.
See, that's why I say it's good that we're sitting in Thune. And I'm looking at you. I'm like going, what the fuck? Like over and over again. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, I must tell you that I got a little concerned.
Oh, you got really upset. Don't say a little concerned.
I felt that you were actually depressing yourself. You look so... the gloriousness and the gratitude of the moment was getting lost in my perspective. Maybe I'm wrong. But you became very consumed and intense with the idea of, what are we doing? And I'm like, well, right now we're enjoying
coffee and
this
some
wonderful coffee on
weather,
vacation and
75
this beautiful sunshine filling us up, and the people walking by, and the puppies, and the snow-capped mountains, and the green valleys, and the water rushing
strippers
by. And I miss that.
Yeah, they were gorgeous.
And I'm like, this is, we're got to be present.
Yeah,
this is.
Yeah.
So I got a little concerned because you did get a little.
Can you? And I can't believe I'm saying it, but can you appreciate I was present? And it's almost like the universe was taking a sledgehammer to my face and going, this exists in Oregon. Because when we went on that hike, right? I went. Even Alex said it when we sent pictures. If you didn't know that we were near Lauterbrunnen, climbing a waterfall, or hiking up to a waterfall, you would have thought we were somewhere in Oregon or Washington State, right?
Agreed.
That's what I'm getting at. It's less that let's move to Switzerland right now. It's that brings us both so much fucking joy. Yeah. Like we love being in the mountains, and to find someone that appreciates that, like
the forest
we did,
and the mountains.
That's my point was, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we in the flat fucking Midwest for, right? And so, and I recognize families here, and there may come a time to everyone listening who's family where we may say, yeah, we'll come back. Right? It's just right now. Yeah. And so the message I want everyone to hear is that for you and I, we're at a transition state right now, right? Yeah. We want to experience life on our terms. Definitely. And we both agreed that while we love working on homes, we both agreed these are conversations we've had privately. And that's why I want to do the podcast more frequently, because I think I feel that everyone, no matter what age of life you're in, is deciding these types of things. When you're young, you may be going, do I want to get a house? Do I want to stay in the city? You're pulling levers. And when you get older, or you have kids, are we in the right place? And when you get to be our age, it's what are we doing? And when you get to be maybe in your 60s or 70s, you're re-questioning some things with life again, right? Like, what do I do with my friends? We're all pulling levers to see how can we fill gaps, right? Am I making any sense, or am I? Yes. Okay. Yes. Keep going. And so I want to share with everybody that you and I are at this marvelous place where we can pick up and we can quit our jobs and we can do something different. simply because we can.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing preventing us from doing it
would be ourselves.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what it is. If you have the resources to buy a boat and you really love sailing, fucking take a sailing class. Buy a boat. Right? And if the boat sinks or you fuck it up, as long as you don't die, or even if you do die,
Yeah.
you lived.
Yeah. No doubt.
And I think I needed to get through Sam graduating and Alex's wedding and the house. And I really feel that breath coming out of me. And that's why it's almost like the universe is going, now what?
Question for you. So does this line of thought feel like that nagging thing to you? Like when you speak about writing chapters somewhere else and diving into a life adventure, does that feel like it is connecting with that nagging thought that you've had for 3 or 4 months? Is it feeling like, this is it? This is what has been bugging me.
So it does, because weird irony. My kids know this very well. You do too, because you live with me. I love technology, and I am a critical piece of shit when it doesn't work well. And those that know me, people that work for me, I'm really intense on how things should be. I'm like that with the house, right? How wood should be cut, and I like that part of me. So this is where I'm tying it together. We bought a remote garage door opener, and the software is fucking unreal. The onboarding process was amazing. It automatically read everything like it should. It was pulling things off the Wi-Fi with my permission. It just did everything that you should do, and I go apeshit over it, right?
Yep.
I looked the company up. They're out of fucking Oak Brook. And I'm like, God damn it, I'm going to go work for them.
Illinois.
Oak Brook, Illinois,
yep.
Close to where we live. We go out to dinner with Aaron and Ron, or we go hang out with Aaron and Ron, whom we love. And we love a lot of people, so I don't want you to think we don't love others. And Aaron goes, I just got a job at that same company being the head of HR.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And the what? Something in the universe is telling me change jobs and all this other kind of stuff, right? And I still would love the opportunity to work for them if they wanted to expand to Europe.
Yeah.
So I did research about the European market and could they go there? I did this all yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where I'm going with this is when I thought, though, when I told you this, if they said, we want you to be in our corporate office in Oak Brook, my shoulders drooped. And I truly went,
yeah,
I've lived there already.
Yeah.
Like if the corporate office is in Oak Brook and they want me to go travel for them, cool, I'm in. If they want to build stuff overseas for them, okay, I'm in. I don't want to move back to Downers Grove.
Go live in that part of Illinois and go to an office every day. And
so to answer your question, do you see how my body language changed when I thought about the prospect of working there? So if I heard your question correctly, it was, is this the change you've been feeling? Yes.
Okay.
On our walk today, I told you I suddenly view the house not as a task, but as a gentle soul that I'm going to finish. Remember I told you that?
I need to take more of that.
Yeah.
Right now it feels like a lead weight.
I hated the house, and I was like, I can't.
I
was like, I can't stand you, and all the things I got to do. And now I view it as this really tender thing that needs my touch.
Right.
Because then I can give it to somebody else with grace.
Right.
So yeah, do you want to talk about your detail of what you're thinking of doing? Or do you not want to go there? Okay. I thought you would. God, I thought you were going to go there.
No.
You always wanted to talk about detail, and then here you just like set me up. Flounder like a fish out of water.
Yeah, mine's still in the works. Got to figure that out.
Do you not want to do what we talked about now?
No, that's not it.
Oh, you just don't want to talk about it publicly.
Just not ready to yet. Yeah.
I've told a lot of people. Should I not be telling people?
We'll see. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, when I was sitting in, what I was feeling was that's the view that we want to see. That's the life that we want to live. And so I think the biggest gut takeaway is you really have to be authentic to yourself. That's how we met.
Yep.
Because I was authentic for really the first time.
Yep.
And we don't always get it right. And we sometimes
true.
acquiesce. You have to be authentic to yourself. You're the only one that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what was gnawing at me, was there's a lack of authenticity for some things. Not for us, not for fixing up the house, but am I really doing what I love doing? Am I really making an impact in a way that makes me feel good?
Right, right.
And so when we went overseas and all these things started happening, it's almost like the universe was laying out in front of me, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so what you heard in noon was me thinking out loud. It was me going, what are we doing?
And that's what's, on a...
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you.
On the same topic, but a slightly different angle, we're still learning about each other, right? Like we're starting to understand how to interpret each other, right? Like,
yeah, right. Like you didn't know how to read that.
Yeah, I didn't know how to read that. So it felt like you were
depressed.
Yeah. But I trust and believe in you if you tell me no. I wasn't. I was just like, moved about what it makes me feel I want to do. Like this is it. Something in this concept is what I've been subconsciously moving towards, and this is making things fire and connect in your brain, right?
My way of sitting there going, what are we doing? Is the same Jack that would appear in college when I was at a party that I hated. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, get the fuck out. Let's go. And you're right. You're getting to know me. So that gets perceived as me being angry that I'm in this situation. And it's more me going, no different than when I lost all the weight recently, right? Mm-hmm. When I put a piece of something in my mouth that I shouldn't. It's me going, what are you doing? Throw it away. Mm-hmm. What are we doing here? Mm-hmm. That's why, full circle to addiction, I have a hard time understanding addiction. I intellectually get it, but my brain can easily go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? And so that's why...
I don't know if you've ever really done the drugs that take over your body chemistry, though, and
I've never wanted to
change the wiring in your brain.
Well, but I appreciate that the impact it can have, and so that's why for me, it's really cool that you said you're learning still. That's really cool. Yeah,
true. I suspect we'll always be doing that, don't you?
I think I know it all, so I'm not sure. Maybe you got room to grow. You want to end the podcast?
I'm going to pick out a card.
How come you want to end the podcast?
Oh, we don't have to.
Well, I'm curious to know how you feel about all this.
Well, it's 45 minutes. You usually get a little antsy when it gets to 45 minutes.
I know. How do you feel about all this? Like, are you...
Oh, well, I feel like I've said that, and I just think I reiterated, prior to meeting you, I dreamed of having adventures like that too. Paris was always on my heart, and what else came after that, I'm not sure. I always imagine having some kind of home base in Milwaukee because family is here, and now maybe Chicago too because your family is here. But I want to live. I want to experience new things. I want to challenge myself. I want to live. I just don't want to survive. I want to live.
Would you just read that for me from right there?
Yes. Hope that you spend your days, but they all add up. And when that sun goes down, hope you raise your cup. I wish that I could witness all your joy and all your pain. But until my moment comes, I'll say, I did it all. I did it all. I owned every second that this world could give. I saw so many places, the things that I did. Yeah, with every broken bone, I swear I lived. Incredible lyrics. Incredible lyrics. You'll have to put that on the podcast somehow.
I'll do it. I'm so good
Yeah.
at stuff.
This is good shit, babe.
This is really good shit, babe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We have to read that. And then we got a new...
Okay.
You and I, by the way, I just thought of this today. We have to do a new exit outro. The last one that we had before.
An exit.
You know, the one
outro.
that says produced by
yeah.
me and me. All that stuff. We have to do a new exit. So we'll figure that out for the next podcast. Okay. Just
All
get
right.
that on the list of shit we got to do.
Here, this is...
You got a card?
Yeah, this is a card from the Skin Deep.
Skin Deep.
Pick one.
Are
This
we
is
doing
out
the
of
same card? We're doing the same card?
Yeah. This is from the Couples Edition
Couples
long term.
Edition,
So
long
as if
term.
we've been together long term, which we haven't.
I
But sometimes
like this
these are
one.
good because I feel like I've been with you for forever. So something about
It is that...
Okay, lay it on
it's
me.
that heavy, isn't it?
Lay it. Yeah, right. It's been forever.
This is a good one.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Why am I so amazing? Count the 200 ways. Go. What do you think I missed most when I'm not with you? What do you think that I missed most when I'm not with you?
What do you miss most when you're not with me?
Mm-hmm.
I think. What?
Nothing.
What was that you whispered?
Boobies.
Poopies?
Boobies.
Boobies. Of course, I'm like, poopies?
Poopies? I miss you going number 2. Oh, brother.
It wasn't that?
Nope.
You don't miss my poopies.
I miss your poopies.
Oh my goodness. Yes, you probably would miss my boobies. I think that you just would miss talking to me and sharing with me.
Yeah, that was it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Swap the. What do you think I miss?
I think you miss touching me.
This is true. That's exactly what I was going to
you-
say.
you just
I miss
miss
holding
being able
your
to hold my hand or-
Yes. Yeah.
Even if it's not me touching you, just being able to physically feel me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's not the
That's a biggie
same
for
when
me.
we've been because I've had some business meetings and travels and stuff like that, and you've been out of town also where we talk, so it's not the same as
No.
sitting next to you and talking. So
Yeah.
that's what I miss. Yeah, you nailed it. That was a good
Yeah.
one, wasn't it?
That was a good one.
Babe, 47
All right.
minutes in. Great podcast.
All right.
Let's do this again tomorrow.
Okay. I'll see you again this week, young
Boom.
man. All right.
Peace. Jack and Cathy Shit Show outro take 652.
You just listened to another episode of the Jack and Cathy Shit Show.
Our senior producers are me.
Hey, and me,
This episode was produced, engineered, and mixed by
the amazing Key Honar.
Email your questions, comments, or interesting relationship stories to Jack and Cathy Shitshow at gmail.com. That is Cathy with a C.
Be sure to follow and like our marvelous shit show on Instagram and TikTok at Jack and Cathy Shit Show. Apparently, liking and following is a thing.
It is.
Yeah.
This episode was produced by Pint Productions 2022. Point!